And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday, June 19th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Here we are on a Wednesday, and glad to have you with us. We welcome Melinda Bounds from Cedarstone Bank this morning. We're going to talk about Cedarstone Bank of Lebanon, Mount Juliet Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And we got to tell everybody, Melinda, Senior Vice President and Relationship Manager. And, of course, this is a federal holiday.
It is.
And you had to come out here and do the commercial, even though you don't have to go to work today.
That's okay. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, it's nice to have you. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
But that's dedication, to say the least.
It makes me get up and get going in the morning, that's for sure. So, yeah.
Well, how long, I've asked you this before, and I don't remember exactly, but you've been with the bank a pretty good while, Cedarstone.
Yes, 18 and a half years, be 19 years in December.
Oh, almost from the beginning
Yeah.
then.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize you'd actually been there that long.
Yeah,
So,
I opened up the Donaldson office and then was there for about 7 or 8 years, and now I'm in the Lebanon office.
right.
Yeah.
Well, any particular thing you want to talk about this morning?
Actually, yes. If I can, I'd like to, our short time together here, talk a little bit about some of the scams that we're seeing, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
I know Bob mentions it several times, but I think it's very important to get some information out there. I mean, the bankers know what to look for when scams are going on, but it's important that the public is aware of a lot of the scams. And in particular, we had a couple within the past few weeks, and they're older scams that we're catching, but they're kind of coming back around. Mm-hmm. And one in particular had a customer who came into the Lebanon office 2 different occasions on the same day and withdrew cash, which was unusual for them. And, we just asked out of concerns, everything okay? Are you going to buy something in particular? Because we immediately think of scams. And got some, very legitimate answers that, and we knew our customer. That's another thing. You've got to really know your customer. And anyway, but this was unusual. And then next thing we know, they're in Mount Juliet pulling out cash as well. And we made several calls to this customer, had to leave messages just to make sure they're okay. And our Mount Juliet manager even walked the customer to the car just to say, hey, this is really unusual. There's so many scams going on. This looks like a classic case of you being scammed. And the customer, no, it's just, the perfect storm. Today I needed this, this, and this. And, well, the next morning we get a phone call that it was a scam. And what had happened was the customer had a phone call, and on the caller ID, it showed Wilson County Sheriff Department. Answered the phone, and they proceed to tell the customer that their checking account had been hacked, and the bank is involved. So don't go to the bank and tell them that you've been hacked. The Sheriff's Department is investigating this because the bank's involved. Just go get your money out of your bank. But don't do it all at once. Go separate, different times, not to throw up any red flags, which it did anyway. But because the caller ID said Wilson County Sheriff's Department, they thought it was a real deal.
Uh-huh.
One, your bank is never going to be part of the scam, but anyway, with the cash that this customer got, they were told to go put it in a Bitcoin kiosk into a certain account number, and they would hold it for them.
Oh.
So anyway, that money's gone. But if anybody ever gets, a call like that where it says Wilson County Sheriff Department or any sheriff's department, and I've heard of the stories of them spoofing. It's called spoofing the number. Banks.
Uh-huh.
So it comes on your caller ID. It'll come up the bank or whatever. Always hang up, and if you think it's real, look up that number and call it yourself. That way you know you're really talking to someone at that business or the Sheriff's Department or whatever. So, but this customer was scammed out of that money.
Well, some real good advice there. And I've had a couple of instances. Didn't amount to hardly anything, but there was I had took my concern to Cedarstone, and they helped me out 2 different times, and I probably would have lost a little money had I not done that.
Right.
So I appreciate what you do there.
Yeah. Well, we've been in it. We see it every day, and that's not an exaggeration. Every single day we see it, and so we as bankers, we know what to look for. We know the signs, and unfortunately, this particular customer was being fed information on what to tell us. And one of the things that we were told was they were going to buy a vehicle with some of the cash, and even gave name, make, and model, year, make, and model of a vehicle. So they're being fed this information because, remember, the bank was in on it. So they don't want to, try to fake us off or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, some really good advice this morning, and hopefully you will. If you've got any questions, you can always
call us.
Right.
And if you ever question, is this real or not? Is this too good to be true? It usually is. So just call us.
Right. Okay. Well, you can get your loan at Cedarstone.
Absolutely.
We'll say that. You can open up that Simply Better free checking account, which is a wonderful banking instrument, let's say.
That's right.
Tool.
It's the cornerstone of the
I don't
bank.
think you're going to find a better free checking account.
Thank you. We like it. It's worked for us, and it's worked for our customers.
All right. Well, Melinda, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you. It's
All
good to
right.
see you.
Melinda Bounds, Senior Vice President, Relationship Manager for Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. We're 10 and a half after the hour, and Mark Hinesley is my guest this morning. He's the President and Chief Encouragement Officer for the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce.
How about that, Coleman?
Good to see you again.
Hey, it's good to be seen. Thank you. Glad to be here.
What's going on?
Hey, celebrating Juneteenth today.
Yeah.
Holiday, I think that probably should have been a holiday about 150 years ago, but enjoying the day off, and I know that there's still the folks that have to work, and if it makes them feel any better, I'll be thinking about them today.
Well, actually, I'm just observing here. You don't have long pants.
I know. It felt a little unusual, but I'm still a little bit old school. I got to get up and get to work. I'll figure out what I'm going to do when I get there, but I didn't want to miss this. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Doing fine. It's good old summertime. Actually, today is, of course, the 19th. I think summer officially starts the 21st. That's usually, sometimes it's the 20th or the 22nd, depending on how all that happens. But
summer starts for me on the first Saturday, where I got to wear about 4 different shirts during the day, and last Saturday is one of them. So,
well, anyway, we welcome the summertime, and it's the weather. The summer weather's arrived a little bit before the sun crossed whatever imaginary line on
That's right.
At the equator or wherever it is. Well, what I know you've got a lot to tell us.
I was just thinking on my way over here. A lot has happened. I come once a month on the third Wednesday, which we set that up originally because our monthly luncheons are on the third Wednesday. So I knew that was going to be a day that people make fun of me that I haven't missed a monthly luncheon in about 30 years, which is not far from the truth probably. But the holiday then, we were unable to get the office is closed, so we moved our luncheon to last week. So I'm a little out of sorts with the luncheon last week and the radio this week, but we had a very interesting program last week. In fact, to be honest, we got great programs the rest of the year. They're already booked up, and we got a stable full of good speakers, and attendance is showing because we're approaching 100 people now at almost every monthly luncheon. So, but Stacy Nickens, she's with B&A, the airport in Nashville, came out and gave us a overview of where they're at on their multi-billion-dollar construction and remodeling and add-on, and it's just incredible. Some of that stuff they're having to think, okay, now if we do it now, we'll be ready to do this in 15 years, and that plan is in place, probably ever changing a little bit, but involving relocating Donaldson Pike and a new interchange and new runways and where they're going to be flying to in the world, and very interesting speaker.
Well, is it just the increase in business, the airport business there growing so much that necessitated this?
Yeah, they were the number one airport after COVID on how quickly they rebounded, and they have been growing Probably as much or more than any airport in the country. They are the 26th largest one, I think she said, and they're way, way ahead of where they thought they would even be in 2030 already. And millions of people, it seems like every month they're setting a new record. And I think that's reflected in a lot of what's going on in Nashville.
So they had to do something.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, we had our speaker the previous month was Burke Nihill, and he's the president and CEO of the Titans and Nissan Stadium. And he came and gave us an overview. And just to put into perspective, whether it's Taylor Swift or George Strait or whoever, I don't go to concerts, you can tell, but Nissan Stadium was the third most attended. There were more tails in seats in that arena, the third most in the world last year in 23. Only SoFi Stadium in California and someplace down in Mexico City had more attendance. And so he said that's, driving the airport or the airport's driving that or whatever. But it is busy, Coleman.
Boy,
I had reason to go to downtown to Bridgestone yesterday morning for a breakfast meeting, and I think I met most of those folks on I-40 somewhere between Stewart's Ferry and the Briley Parkway all at one time. But I am glad I work at the Chamber, and I'm glad I do not have to leave Wilson County to go to work, because I would not be a good commuter in that nonsense, I can tell you.
Mark Hines is with us. Time for us to take a break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot, write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still looks pretty good right now through the Mount Juliet area coming in from Wilson County towards Hermitage. It's trying to pick up just a bit the last few minutes. 24 westbound up like Bell Road in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County into Davidson County through Brentwood, Franklin. All clear at the moment. 65 going northbound through Williamson County. Hey, Nash Painting, a non-franchise painting company here in Middle Tennessee. Mention this ad, get a 10% discount. Call Nash Painting at 912-2288. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Are you facing a challenging time that you need help navigating? Well, look no further than your local law firm of Kane & Crowell. At the offices of Kane & Crowell, we understand the complexities that come with family law matters. Whether you're going through a divorce, working through child custody or support matters, or needing a will or trust drafted to protect your family assets for future generations. Kane & Crowell, 615-784-4800. Your local leaders in family law matters.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Mark Hinsley with the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce is here, his monthly visit, and this is a day I look forward to see you, and we always get a good update of something, and usually several things that's taking place to our west over in the city of Mount Juliet.
I'm very lucky. We're blessed. I have a plethora of things to talk about every month, because so many people are working so hard to keep our foot on the gas and see the economy thriving. Sales tax collections are once again up. Business licenses, we are now on track. If we keep at this rate, we'll have right at 235 or 240 new business licenses in Mount Juliet in 2024. Something that we've been waiting on since the morning after the tornado is the opening of West Wilson Middle School, and they had the ribbon cutting out there, and the principal, Mr. Johnson, Jeff Luttrell. I'm sure that all started with Dr. Wright and her team, and they handed the baton off to the new administration and to everybody that made that possible. I know that was a painful 4 years, but that is one beautiful school, and most of us from years before cannot remember. Let me just say, we never had a school like that. Yeah. It is magnificent, and I hope that it's worth waiting on. The grounds are beautiful. The facility is beautiful. It's safe. Technology is incredible. They had a big event, and families came out. I'm not sure that was the first time most everybody had seen it, but if you haven't been in it, Wilson County did, the Board of Education, county commissioners, contractors, they made us proud. It's beautiful. And I don't know enough about it I wouldn't want to get into the details, but I do want to thank Mayor Hutto and all of the county commissioners. I read an article, not enough about it to know all of the details, of course, but one of only 6 counties in the entire United States, and I believe the decision was unanimous the other night, to let telecommunications, the comms, and I kind of figured that was the people that answer the calls at 911, but I don't know, to declare them or certify them as first responders. Now, I don't know what the benefits of that are. I would imagine it's somewhat unusual, or there would be a lot more people doing it, but I always appreciate people that get out there and, get ahead of the curve and do the right thing, and I'm proud of them for doing that. The big thing that happened, one big thing, a week ago Thursday, Costco cut the ribbon and opened the door to their new facility on Golden Bear Parkway. That's been long requested, and people waited patiently to watch that monstrosity go up, but boy, did it come out of the ground, and they had a bang up first week. City stated last week their first day sales were something like $1.2 million in one day.
Wow.
Over $4 million for the first week, and I believe that it either exceeded the first day or the first week. It beat the one that opened in Hendersonville and in Murfreesboro. So to say they're off to a good start is probably an understatement. But, I had an opportunity to go to Cumberland for the Phoenix Ball on June the 1st. Thank you, Doug and Barbara Bell. And that was a magnificent event. I believe that Cumberland set the record for the highest price of one bottle of bourbon ever paid for in Wilson County. And if it's not, somebody call and tell me and let me know what is the highest price. But I just don't see how it can get better every year. But it does. Yeah. It was just magnificent. They did such a good job. And Courtney Wheeler is on our board of directors. And she got married last Saturday. So congratulations to Courtney. We had our monthly luncheon. This in July is something we look forward to every year. That's Mayor Hutto's State of the County address. So in July when I come back, well, no, I won't, because at luncheon I'll be here before. I'll make some stuff up about what he's probably going to say. How's that? So, I know he's going to talk about this, but that one will be a sellout. I believe next weekend is race weekend in Wilson County. That's a huge deal, and in Nashville yesterday, there were even people saying, "Oh, wish we could, can't wait till we get the that racetrack or the car race back where they race cars on the streets and stuff around the stadium." But since they can't do that, that's coming out to Wilson County too. So notice they didn't go to Williamson County. Oh, they don't have a speedway, that's why. Or they don't have a 4-year university like Cumberland, or an airport either. So we got a little something on them, but. A lot of stuff going on at the chamber. We got another ribbon cutting again tomorrow. Our leading women had a self-defense class. We've opened up numerous restaurants. 3 or 4 gyms, I think, have opened up in the last month or so. So it just keeps on going.
You probably, and I know the city fathers, those on the board of commissioners, and the mayor and city manager all pay a lot of attention to sales tax collections. How's that going?
Well, I heard either Justin or Kenny, maybe the other, one of these were last times, talking about the budget, the significant, and by significant, the property tax at 11 cents was there to fund the fire department. It doesn't even come close to funding the fire department, much less everything else. So the sales tax is the budget, sales tax. It's something that we all look very forward to seeing on the 17th, 18th of the month, when that Tammy Stokes at the JECDB sends me a report as soon as she gets it. And you just take a quick look and make sure that it's at least a little bit more than it was this month last year. So, that's very important. And you got to create an environment where people can make money. There's nothing wrong with that. Broke businesses don't support nonprofits and churches and schools. And so an economy where your businesses are profitable from top to bottom, you're going to have a much better community. And I think that you can speak to, certainly Wilson County, with a 2% unemployment rate. I remember G.C. Hickson one time told me that 5%, at any given time, 5% of the people don't really even want to be working. So 2% unemployment, there's probably people working that would prefer not to be working if they didn't have to. So, and that's kind of a two-sided, blade as well. You want low unemployment, but if you're trying to help, if you're trying to find help and get talent, it is very difficult right now.
Yeah. Well, you've been there, and it's been a while, but you hired people. You know what that's all about, and it probably is an advantage to you, your background in doing what you're doing now, and to understand what it's like to be in business.
Yeah, and you take a look at what the labor force and there was a correction, I guess, if you will, whatever, when COVID. I think businesses started just taking a hard look at what makes us different. Why would somebody want to come and work here? And it's not always about the money. That's up there. But people were looking, I think, rightfully so. You want to feel like you're making a difference. And when you go somewhere, you want to be part of a team. You want to know that the work you're doing aligns with your personal values. If you believed in something, but you go to work every day and the company is fighting causes out there that go against, after a while you'd say, what am I doing here? And so I think companies have had to do some serious looking at their culture and at their how they what benefits they offer. Now if you can offer people the opportunity to maybe even work in different locations, or child care is huge. If there's things you can do to make it easier on a family to take care of their young ones, whether that's helping with the cost or the location or the hours or whatever it is, this might give you a step up, if you will, on the competition. And so I know that's something that a lot of companies are trying to address, and it's not going away either. So schools, I think the schools found that a long time ago. I mean, what they've done is tremendous. I think they even have a clinic in the Wilson County schools. Why? So that you don't have an employee that has to go sit at the doctor's office or whatever and miss a half a day of work or a whole day of work. So I think that was one thing. And we have a lot of folks that leave Wilson County to go work in a neighboring county, and that is talent that is leaving Wilson County. So if businesses need that kind of talent, you can change the lives of families for the better if you can keep them working in the community where they live. Right. More time to spend with their family. Maybe they now can be a softball or a little league coach, or they can attend PTO meetings or be more involved in church or whatever it is, if they're not spending so much time on the interstate. Yeah. So, and I know there are good people working really hard on that.
Well, we've got about 3 minutes left this morning. Do you see really any change in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years as far as people still wanting to locate in Mount Juliet, more businesses locating there, growth, in other words? Is it gonna slow down?
No, I don't think it'll slow down. I think that probably, in 20 years, our population will probably be 250,000 people in Wilson County. It might nearly double. And I don't know that I think it'd be naive to think that it's something that Mount Juliet or Lebanon or Wilson County are specifically doing that nobody else is doing. I think that's on a big picture, I think people are wanting to move to where they feel safe, where they have good schools, where they're paying appropriate taxes, not necessarily too high or too low, but they're getting more for their money. I think the South, there's no question that that's the fastest growing region. And then as Nashville goes with what's going, just yesterday they rattled off some of the businesses from, the Bernstein, Oracle, Amazon, the Blue Oval in West Tennessee, what's going on over on the East Bank, the airport. This is just a desirable place to live. And I don't think the growth is going to stop down or slow down in Wilson County. And I kind of joked earlier with Melinda, but Wilson County, we're 10 minutes from the airport. That's a huge driver. Mm-hmm. If you live in Williamson County or Cheatham County or whatever, you better plan on an hour getting to the airport. we're nestled out here between two lakes, still have our population density is much. You still have more open space per person in Wilson County than the neighboring counties. Mayor Hutto's proud of that. And so I don't see, it would take something pretty drastic for people to say, I don't think I want to move there anymore. The problem, or the biggest challenge in my opinion, is just housing.
Yeah.
You can call it a village or a suburb or a town or whatever, but when you use the word community, to me, I think you ought to be able to live in the same community that you work in. And when you have a community, wherever it is, and people have to leave there to go spend the night and live somewhere else, something's out of balance. And, I think you ought to be able to take two people's average salary, and together, if they can't afford a house, something's out of balance. And I know people want to fix that. I don't know exactly what the answer is. People want to buy it low and others want to sell it high. So we're somewhere in the middle, I guess, Coleman. But
Mark, our time's up. Thanks so much for being with us.
I appreciate you.
See you next month.
All right.
Mark Heisley, Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce, and that's part one of Coleman and Company. More coming up right here on FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, that regular oil change, $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil. Tax and disposal, $17.80. Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning, T-Dot. I was cleaning up some debris a few minutes ago on Briley Parkway northbound over there in M Hill Pike. It's trying to build just a bit on 24 coming up out of Murfreesboro westbound. 24 headed toward the Antioch area. Still not bad coming in through West Nashville right now. As you come past Charlotte Pike, that's what we're checking out live. 40 going eastbound in from Kingston Springs. All looks good. Nash Painting is a non-franchise painting company. Mention this ad, get a 10% discount. Call Nash Painting 912-2288. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Simple banking, simply better. Since 2004, that's been our motto at Cedar Stone Bank. I'm Bob McDonald. We know that financial decisions can sometimes be complicated, but that doesn't mean solutions have to be. Whether you're buying a new home, renovating your existing home, or buying a car, or maybe you're a business that needs to purchase equipment for the building you operate from, we have all the technology that will allow you to do your banking online or on the telephone, or you can come in one of our beautiful branches and see our great people. With locations in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Nashville, Cedar Stone Bank. Simple banking, simply better.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
The weather remains nice for our Wednesday. Partly cloudy skies expected. Afternoon highs in the upper 80s. Partly cloudy skies continue for tonight and tomorrow. Lows tonight in the upper 60s. Highs on Thursday in the low 90s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your severe view forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
Welcome to part two of Coleman and Company here on a Wednesday. We are glad to talk to John Langford with Edward D. Jones. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. I was telling everybody when we came in, it's a little bit of a relaxed day today, with it being Juneteenth. I'm actually in shorts and a t-shirt for a change instead of my khakis and dress shirt. And after this, I'm going to get my annual physical. And then I'm heading down Edward Jones, reaching 206 here in Middle Tennessee. We're actually sponsoring the Juneteenth 5K downtown in Nashville. So several of us are heading down there afterwards.
Yeah. Well, what anything particular you want to focus on this morning?
Well, one of the things I wanted to focus on, and I can actually thank Susie for this. We were talking before I came in here, and beneficiaries.
Yeah.
Is a really big thing for us because, as I tell people, nothing big. I'm just in charge of your retirement and life savings, you know. And with that, one of the things that we have within our accounts is we have the ability to have beneficiaries, and you have several inside of there. But we had a situation where we had a new client that came in, and we were going through their paperwork, and it was a life insurance policy. And when we looked at it, he had his ex-wife of 10 years ago as his beneficiary. And needless to say, even though once upon a time that was a good thing, that was not his intention with that money. And it was just going through the policies, going through the accounts, and making sure we had the right people in line, so that way your wishes for your money get carried out.
Well, if you hadn't done that and then it hadn't gotten changed, there could be some big problems later on, or at least, to say the least, his wishes wouldn't be carried out.
And that is one of the things that we tell people. A lot of people don't realize with estate planning law that beneficiaries supersede a will inside of there. And what that is contract operations law. Inside of there is how that occurs. So even though you may have in your will stated out, well, I want this money to go here, well, the beneficiary says something else, guess what? The beneficiary is what rules. And then we had another situation last week. I met with a client. They've been a client for several years, and they've never put a beneficiary on there. And it's getting to where every year I'm asking this person, hey, by the way, I hope this doesn't happen, but I may not see you next year.
Well, I used to sell a little life insurance. I can't ever remember when we didn't have a beneficiary. That's almost like not completing the app to not have a beneficiary.
Your case in point. But he's a single individual, doesn't have any kids, doesn't have any real close family. And then whenever we ask for a beneficiary, one of the things that people don't realize is we need to have their name, their date of birth, their social security number, and a good phone number. Because there's been a couple times I've had to make that phone call and said, hey, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, we have something of yours here. Because someone had passed away and they weren't that close, but they were a niece or a nephew or a cousin that didn't live around here, and they had a nice chunk of change waiting on them.
Well, that's one of many things you do as a financial advisor, but you're always looking out for your client's best interest. You've got to be.
Yes, sir. And that's one of the things that we strive for within our branch. And the old adage is true. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's one of the things with our clients. I have a really good client, and honest to goodness, I should have put him on the marketing staff because he's referred so many clients to me over the years. But if he called me and said, hey, John, I need some help moving the couch, I'd say, well, can you wait until I get off work? But I'll be over there soon. And the reason why is because we have some amazing, wonderful people in this community, and I've just been fortunate enough to help a few with their financial goals.
Well, you will find John, if he's in the office, at 1424 West Padua Parkway, Suite C. You can reach him by phone, 615-443-2090, 2090, with Edward D. Jones. And anything you want to say before you get up and leave?
One of the other things I wanted to add is my assistant, and she doesn't get enough recognition, but Lisa Harvey has been my assistant now for 9 years, and she is amazing. A lot of times I do have to be out of the office because I have appointments, whether that be with the city or with a client somewhere. But she is always there from 8 to 4:30, and we'll be there bright and early tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, and hopefully back here again next Wednesday.
I'll see you, buddy.
All right. John Langford again, Edward D. Jones, and that's it for our commercial time. And now it's the mayor's time. The mayor of Lebanon, Mr. Rick Bell. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to see you today. You and Mike Jennings smiling a little bit bigger maybe here lately. Tennessee Vols have done quite well in Omaha so far.
And I'm sure Mike's smiling more than me. He actually got to go and watch those games, but They've
Well, it's my understanding he's going back.
Well, I figured that. He came back for a county commission meeting. Now he's going to head back out. But they've set themselves up very well. But Coleman, as you know, they still have some games to go, so it's not over yet.
Well, I did notice that it was Florida State did win yesterday, so they've got to play them again. And that's the game that went 12-11 that they won after trailing 11-7, I believe.
It is. That's the game, and Florida State is really good. They can hit. They can score a lot of runs. Honestly, I was really hoping it would not be them, but it is, and so they'll have to get through that. And I'm sure after that game the other night when Tennessee beat them in the bottom of the ninth that Florida State will be fired up for this.
Yeah.
But, it's what's the old adage, take it one game at a time.
Well, it'll make for some interesting baseball, no doubt, whoever wins. But Tennessee's got to feel like, well, if we can come down from at least a 5-run deficit and win it in the ninth, walk-off style, what do we have to fear?
That's right, yeah.
Kentucky's game with, Texas A&M, I believe?
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
That game got rained out. It's supposed to be played at 11 o'clock today.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And you can't forget about Florida with MJ looking at you through the window.
Yeah. Well, you had a meeting last night, which we'll get into. I always, one of the things I do like about your style and your being with us, you bring you some notes, at least some little one-liners here to remind you what you want to talk about so we don't miss out on anything. Yeah. And I want to be sure we get it all in as much as we can. So I kind of leave it up to you as to what we're going to talk about. But you did have a meeting, right?
We did. We had a meeting, and it was a good meeting, and some important things happened last night. And first of all, second reading, the budget passed last night for next year, and with no
second reading.
Right. So it's done now. No property tax increase. So it's a good budget that passed unanimously. Everyone's happy with it, and so as always, we look at that budget very closely all year long and handled it conservatively, and we're going to continue to do that. So.
But that's an important important part of what you're doing to get that budget to, if you can, get it done by the second meeting, have second reading, a second meeting in June, and then you're fixed for the next 12 months, more or less.
It's really important, and during my time as mayor, we've the council has done a really good job. The work sessions we have, asking a lot of questions and really digging into it. So when it comes to the council meeting, they're comfortable with it and they pass it, and it's always good to get in on time, so we don't have to worry about going past July 1 because our fiscal year starts July 1, and we want to get that thing turned in and get approved by the comptroller, and then we can move on.
Well, by the time you get the next budget in place, like last night, you might not know exactly, but don't you know fairly close to how you're going to end the fiscal year that's coming to a close?
Oh, yeah. In fact, as I said before, Stuart Lawson, he's Commissioner of Finance, and I, every month we get together and we track the budget. We track where spending is, and we track where revenues are and how we're going. So, this is not something where we pass it and then we come back to look at it again here in about 6 or 8 months. We're looking at it all the time to make sure we're staying on track. So by the time we get this point, we have it locked in pretty good where we're going to end. And so we're in a good position. We've come in this year, we brought in more revenues than we spent, so that's always a good thing. And now we're ready to crank up a new budget here next week or two.
One of the good things about both the situation with the Wilson County treasurer, whatever, and the city, both have quite a bit of reserve.
We do.
And that is good. The city and the county has quite a bit of reserve to fall back on in case of an emergency, or just shows I think you're being responsible, it's just like your own budget at home. I mean, if you don't have but $100 in your bank account at the end of each month, you're skating on thin ice.
That's right. You have to have some on the side, and we have about $50 million that is out there, and that helps in a lot of areas. One is it helps us with if we need to borrow any money with our rate, because those entities know that we're good as far as our finances. But also, if we have something come up, like if one of the sanitation trucks breaks down and we have to buy another one, or anything like that happens, then we have plenty of money there that when we have a one-time expense, we can use it. We're not worried about it, and then we can move on. So, that's a good way to operate, as you said, at home, a business, a government, anything like that. You need money set aside, and we have that.
Okay, about a minute before break time. Anything else from last night's meeting we can talk about quickly?
Well, there's a few big things I'll talk about after the break, but just before that, one thing I do want to announce is that out around Hartsel Pike, where TDOT's working, starting Sunday, they are going to close the entrance to Rome Pike to do some utility work. That's part of a TDOT project. It's going to be closed from Sunday to Thursday, and so I just want to make sure that everyone knows that, especially people who are in that area, that there's going to be some detours out there for a few days.
So people that would be coming in would need to, I guess, go Lover's Lane or they go would. Etherly Drive or whatever that other one is out there to get over to 70.
They would, and there'll be signs up to help them with that. But right there at the entrance is where it'll be, and so that'll be pretty much all of next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a little inconvenience, but that's not that big a detour.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
All right. Well, let's take a break right here. Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell is here. A lot more to talk about after this break on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot. Write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's trying to build out here in a couple of spots like 24 up through the Antioch area. It got a little bit busy a few minutes ago as we check it out live over there on 24 coming in from the Jolton area. It's trying to increase through Dixon County right now. A little bit of traffic volume on 40 East headed towards Kingston Springs. Prince's Hot Chicken now offers DoorDash and Uber Eats delivery. Check out their menu, princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. I'm John Langford, your local Edward Jones financial advisor in Lebanon, Tennessee. Count on me for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact me today at 615-443-2090 and let's find your rich. Edward Jones, member SPIC.
Coleman & Company, welcome to our final segment here for a Wednesday with the Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell. What else about last night's meeting? I'm sure we're not through.
No, there's a few things happened last night, and what was this? I'm sure a lot of people have read, it's been on TV, it's been in newspapers, that Sam's Club is coming to Lebanon. That's something that has been rumored for about a decade, but I know that Sarah Hayes and I started working on it about 2 years ago. And it's been a process, working with them, with property owners and other people to get this done. And so last night the city council did vote on first reading to approve what's going to happen. And so Sam's Club is going to go on South Hartman Drive, just behind where those hotels are. Avid Hotel on the north side of the interstate. There's some fields out there where they're going. So they need infrastructure. They need roads, and they need utilities. So the deal the city council approved on first reading last night was for the city to pay $18 million to build that infrastructure. Now, as I say that, I want to say this as well. We've analyzed this, and we were working on these contracts for, as I said, for about 2 years. And with the sales tax revenue and the property tax revenue that Sam's will generate, we'll get that money back in 10 years. Now, there's also an agreement in there that Sam says that if they decide not to build that store, then they will reimburse us the entire cost of the roads and utilities. So essentially, we will get it for free. And then it will be set up for other stores to come if they want. So the entire analysis was based on Sam's Club alone. But we also know that there's another box store that we've talked to a couple times that wants to be next to Sam's. Now, that's not finalized yet, but with that sales tax revenue and property tax, then that'll make the payback time even shorter. So we've talked to a lot of experts in this field. We have an attorney who's been helping us with this, who is probably the foremost expert in the state of Tennessee when it comes to things like this. He's worked on a lot of deals in Nashville, and he told us the other night at the work session that these contracts, these are locked as tight or more tight than any contract he has ever seen. So this is something that the city council, they agreed to unanimously last night. It's something we're excited about. You know, Coleman, we just talked about the budget and not raising property taxes.
Yeah.
I want to make sure our property taxes stay that way. But to make that happen, we need to expand our sales tax base. Now, that means for us as a city, we need to support the businesses that are here, but we also need to go out and get more to make sure that people shop here and don't go somewhere else. And it's also a situation where, you know, these are type stores that people have been asking for a long time. As I said, it's been a rumor that Sam's is coming for about 10 years now. And so in a situation like this, not only are we providing the stores that people have been asking for, we're also expanding our sales tax base. And as we expand our sales tax base, that allows us to keep our property tax base where it is. And so I think this is a win for everyone involved. It's a win for the city. It's a win for the people of Lebanon. And Sam's really wants to be here. So, you know, this is something that I've told you before, that I'm not going to sit back and wait and watch other cities get things that we want. We're going to go out and try to get them, and this is one that we went out and tried to get, and we're going to get it. So I'm really excited about it.
Well, it seems like your method of operation here is to be willing to invest a little bit on the front end to make it happen and make it happen sooner. The analysis that that is presented in a situation like this, does it have a really good track record? I mean, can you be fairly sure of the figures and the what's been presented that would happen in the next 5 or 10 years?
Absolutely. We have a third party that does that for us, that analyzes data, and Sam's Club, and you know, they provided all their information, and we know how successful they are anyway. You know, you go to Sam's Clubs, Nicole and I go to the one in Hendersonville, and, you know, this is something that...
So you can't wait for this.
And I can't wait for this one, because I don't like spending money in Hendersonville. I want to spend it here. Yeah. And so, you know, this is something that's a company that we know is successful. We can track their numbers very easily, their averages. This store is going to bring in a lot of sales tax, but we do have a third party that analyzes these, yeah, and it's very scientific and very well done.
What kind of opening date can we expect? Do you have much idea about that yet?
Well, I'll say this. We're going to have a special call meeting tomorrow night to get the second reading done, because Sam's wants to close at the first of the month. And it's imperative that construction starts quickly, because of the seasons and because it takes a while to build these things. But Sam's wants to be open early 2026, so it'll take that long to get it done. But people should start seeing construction soon and seeing it coming. But as I said, we're very excited about it. Stuart Lawson, our Commissioner of Finance, who he's been involved the entire way. Jeff Baines, Commissioner of Public Services, has been involved the entire way. Our entire staff has really worked hard on this, and I want to thank them. And they've all looked at it. They've all gone over the fine-tooth comb, just like Sarah and I have, and we all feel good about it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's good news this morning.
It is, and as I said, you know, several things people talk to me about is things they want to see in Lebanon, and Sam's is right there at the top of the list. I've heard that name over and over, and so we're really excited about them getting here. We can't wait for the ribbon cutting and go in there and start buying stuff.
Well, you're really putting it on the front burner here, so to speak, with that call meeting, and with them wanting to, what'd you say, first of the year?
No, the first of next month. So they want to close on the land next week.
Oh, okay. Well, yep. First of the fiscal. Yeah, July 1.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. There was something else that happened last night too that at the city council meeting I want to talk about. The Lebanon Youth Football League here in town for a long time have been practicing over at Fairview Church, and last year Fairview told them that they needed to do some other things because they wanted to expand their church services during the week. And so the leadership of the league came to me to help them find a place to practice. And Jeff Baines and I have been working on that for a long time. And all the teams practice at the same time. And what that means is there's a lot of people with a lot of cars that require a lot of parking. And frankly, we at our facilities don't have that kind of parking space. So we've been looking for a long time to find a place that can hold all those cars and a grass area that can hold that many players at the same time. So last night we put in front of the city council for Jeff and I to be able to go into negotiations to lease some property for them to be able to practice on. So that happened last night. There were a lot of parents and kids who came out from that league for the meeting, and there was some discussion about it amongst city council, but that did pass, and so that will also be on the special call tomorrow night. And so after that, then we can go out and we have more options as to help them find somewhere to practice. And I think that's something important because, one of the things that we want to do is support youth sports. We're building the sports complex. And I've told the football league that once that's finished, those fields are out there now that soccer will be played on. Well, football could be played on it too, because they can be striped for football as well. So they'll be able to play on those nice fields, but still they need a practice area, and Jeff and I are working really hard to make sure we find them something.
Okay, well that's good to hear. You're working on it.
We're working on it. We really are, and it's coming quick. Their practice starts pretty quick, so we're working on it hard.
All right, what's next?
So just a few other things that are happening I want to mention. On June 27th at 4 o'clock, up at City Hall, we are holding a monument rededication. There are a couple of monuments that have been in front of City Hall for a long time. One is the 9/11 Memorial. Another one is the Castle Heights Memorial that honors Castle Heights alumni who were killed in war. And so year before last, those monuments in a storm were blown over, and they were busted up. So we paid to have new monuments built, and so they have been working on those, and they're back up now, and so we're going to have a rededication ceremony for them next week on the 27th.
Just an expense the city bore because of what had happened.
We did.
I take it wasn't covered by the insurance.
Well, we just felt like it was the right thing to do.
Right.
The Castle Heights alumni had paid for their monument. The city had paid for the 9/11 monument, but we just felt like it was the right thing to do since it's on our property. We wanted to make sure that those got redone in a nice way, and so we're going to rededicate those. And if you go by City Hall, one is still covered up because it was changed a bit. So we want to kind of unveil it.
Have an unveiling ceremony
at the rededication. So we're really excited about that to honor those people. Also, as been said, Juneteenth is today, and our offices are closed today, just to make sure everyone knows that. And also, Coleman, coming up here in a few weeks, we're having our July 4th celebration.
Yeah.
And so we'll have details coming out here in a few days about what all is going to happen out there. But it's going to be a lot of music, a lot of food, a lot of fireworks, and a little bit of cornhole. And so we're excited about that, to be out there July 4th and celebrate our independence. And it's always a big crowd. We hope for another big crowd.
4 o'clock starting time.
Well, I'm not going to say that because that might have altered just a bit.
Right.
So I'm going to wait till we announce that. We have a committee that works on that, and they met the other day, and I had to go to another meeting, so I'm not sure what they decided. So we'll have to wait till the official release comes out.
Well, you usually have some local groups that provide some popular music,
We do.
Sweeten 3 is one of them. It's been there before. I believe they'll be this year.
They will be, and so it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time.
Well, it's nice. The 4th of July is a wonderful day in a lot of ways, and we do celebrate it right here, I think, and have the nice fireworks ceremony that's kind of the climax. And if nobody comes for anything else, they'll come for that.
Well, and I tell you one thing we did last year was nice too. You mentioned Sweeten 3. They actually played music during the fireworks, and I thought that was a really great addition. So if you sit in your car, which I know a lot of people do, you're not able to hear that. If you come on up and join us in your lawn chair, you get to hear the music during the fireworks.
Well, you will be here though.
Oh, I'll be here. I will be here to play cornhole, and
yes, we.
That is, and I heard you talk about the Pirates beating the Reds the other night, and I think in this one you'll be the Pirates. I'll be the Reds.
The Reds won last night. Lodoto did a great job last night, and he's won 8 games now, 8-2, I believe. He's a left-hander, best pitcher the Reds have got. But anyway, they win one every now and then. And I might even throw right-handed just to make things a little more even.
Well, I'd appreciate that.
That would really be a challenge.
Yeah, you did that one game last year, and I think I beat you on that one. So you need to start practicing right-handed. So,
Mayor, thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And that's it for a Wednesday. Join us tomorrow. Until then, I wish you a wonderful day.